Hello everyone and welcome back to Rick's Garage. Today's episode is all about the newest addition to the fleet, Big Red.
Say hello to the bad side. My emotion is flatline. Hungry demon, what I'm seeing is snack time. When I rush in the grab, I better run from the...
Hey folks, wanted to take a quick minute to announce the winner of last episode's giveaway. Jesse scored himself a free ceramic coating kit made by Avalon King, along with some cool Rick's Garage stickers. So a big thank you to him, along with everyone else who entered. And for those of you who haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to make yourself eligible for future contests. It's been a while since Quarantina made her first successful trip up the block.
It actually works.
As great of an achievement as that was, especially considering what I had to work with, it was obvious that the tired old 750 engine needed some work. Now, in a lot of cases, a top-end refresh will usually do the trick to breathe some life back into an old motor, but with almost 65,000 kilometers on the clock, it wouldn't make much sense not to do a complete rebuild. For whatever reason though, I couldn't find any bottom-end parts for this engine. Rings, pistons, bearings, nothing. As XS750s go, Quarantina is an earlier model, so I don't know if that's the reason why, but I was stuck. I was almost ready to sell her off for parts when I came across this ad on Facebook Marketplace, and this caught my eye. So being Mr. Impulsive, I negotiated a price, bought this thing sight unseen, and cleared some floor space in the garage for Big Red. Red started life as a 1979 XS750 Special, and somewhere along the way was disassembled and sat for a very long time.
No disassemble!
The previous owner bought the bucket of parts, but instead of going back to stock, he reassembled a mongrel using an engine from an 81 XS850, and then he threw a big bore kit into it. This thing is now sitting at a whopping 896 cc's. Unfortunately, the bike is now registered as a rebuild, which generally makes things harder to sell, because nobody really wants a rebuild title. For most motorheads, it's a red flag, because there's lots of reasons something can be a rebuild, so usually the first question is, what's wrong with it? So what can I do now that I've got two bikes, one with a clean title and a sour motor, and another with a sour title and a clean motor? Okay, I admit it. I had no intention of keeping this thing, and I only bought it to rip out the engine. And I know what you're thinking.
You've ruined a perfectly good
motorcycle.
Now, even though Red was advertised as turnkey and needs nothing, something seemed a little off. The starter only got about 2 or 3 rotations of the engine before the battery gave up, and it was very difficult to kickstart. Now, it might just be the extra displacement making things harder to turn, but I think there's something more at play here. It also got the Cafe Racer treatment, and some creative wiring left me with some unlabeled lights that make me feel like an idiot because I've already forgotten what they do. So after verifying both the starter motor and battery are good, but still not solving that starting issue, I hopped on Red and dropped him off at Bent Bike located in Langley, BC to let Jim and Riley give things a once-over. After a compression and leak down test, Jim found the reason for that starting problem. The pressure coming out of that engine is 195 psi, which is something found in modern sport bikes, not 40-plus-year-old air-cooled motors. The starter was never designed to push that much pressure, so it's no wonder it's flattening the battery, and a guy feels like he's going to break his ankle on the kickstart pedal. The other point of concern was from the leak down test. That's where you pump the sealed cylinder full of compressed air and measure how much, if any, leaks out after a specific amount of time. Turns out cylinder number 2 was leaking almost 20% of its pressure, so there is definitely a problem in there somewhere. It's a good thing I was planning on pulling the motor apart anyway. Turnkey needs nothing. So after getting Red back home, the task begins of swapping power plants with Quarantina. There were a couple of goodies here and there that I wanted to save off of Red, and once he was put back together, Craigslist found him a new home. Alright, now that Red's out of the garage, it gives me some more room to start working on that 896 engine. I'm hoping that it's not going to be another can of worms, but that'll have to wait for another episode, so make sure you hit the subscribe button with notifications so you don't miss a thing, and remember to drop a like and comment if you enjoyed today's video. I'm Rick the Welder, and as always, thank you all very much for watching.